forward edge here. And we're going to go ahead and, as you can see, I've already replaced the front struts, but I'm going to show you the process of replacing them by removing the cowling for the windshield covering up here up top. Give you access to the mounting studs. Very, very important to do because it gives you a lot more access. And then after I get done removing those, then I reinstall them, mount the springs, sort of redundant operation on struts. But this, of course, is specifically for the 2011 Ford Edge. So follow along in the video, and by all means, hopefully help it learn something, and we'll see you all later.
This is a Mercy Girl production.
Okay, we have to remove these two fasteners and also the brake line holder because this is part of the strut. So we'll remove these two right here, and then the brake line back here that's attached, the wires for the sensor for your wheel speed. And then once we get this off of here, these two off of here, then we go up top, okay, and we have to go up and of course remove the 4 bolts that are up in the top of the strut. So just to give you a clearer picture here, we got to go up, but there's nothing to access here, so I have to bring the vehicle down and then of course take and remove this. We are going to go ahead and remove these bolts, and then of course we'll start working up top, but we're going to get all this disconnected here, and it's just basically one holding screw right here on this backside part, and then we just take and release that. But real simple, we're going to go ahead and remove them, so stand by. Alright, we're going to take and give this a little bit of penetrating fluid, WD-40. I always use that, but use whatever you want. But we're going to make sure that this stuff can release the way it needs to release. So get her greased up here just a little bit. Wasn't coming off too easy, so we're going to go ahead and let it work for just a couple minutes here and start removing everything else. Forward, go back. There we go. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? I always confuse that. But we'll get her off here. I took that 10mm out of there, and then it just simply slides through. That's all you got to do. So now we got this disconnected. Now we got to go back here and undo this one. And I'm trying to see what it's actually hooked up like. Looks like I might have to get a pair of pliers. It's just a crimp little clamp here. So let me get some pliers and of course work on that. The idea, I got to take and remove this by clamping this down here, it looks like, and then pushing it through. There we go. I must have got it loose. Okay, so you just clamp down on it with a pair of needle nose, just like so, and then it pops right out. So we got this out of here now. So all we got to do is work on this lower one, which, hey, it's Iowa, it's rust. So we're going to have to work on this one a little bit on the overtime. And again on this side, you just take the pliers here and crimp that and just push it through. Comes right off. Then we take the, what is it again, the 10mm, we take and loosen this up and get this bolt off of here. Oh! Dropping everything. And then again, remember, it just slides right up out of the way. Doo-doo-doo. The other one ain't strong enough. This one is going to be the one we're going to use. So since this one is being so difficult, we're going to take and set up our adjustable wrench here. We're going to go on the nut side. We're going to see if we can't get this thing off of here because it's not letting go, but with this bigger impact we should have a little bit more power to get this off of here. So we'll see here in a minute. Alright folks, I'm back for the nut on the struts. 24 millimeter. Remember that. There we go. Took her right off, no problem. Just needed to have the big guy. So we got that off, no problem. Now we'll move over to the next one. Okay, let's give her a heck. Look at that. Just need the right tool for the right job. We got these all out of here and everything. We'll go ahead and see if we can't get them out just a little bit. See how much pressure there is on them. Give them a light whack here. Oh! Popped right on out. Again, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's got, of course, the serrated edges there to hold it in place. But we're going to go ahead and get that out. But first things first, to get this done, then we can take and pull the strut out, and we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. And again, we'll just give them all a little light whack. So you get them both out here. Remember, the sway bar link and everything is what's holding it all up there too, but we got it nice and loose, so we can take and get this taken out and get this strut out. But one thing we want to make sure that we do before we do that is we don't want to pull this axle out too far or damage anything, so we want to make sure that everything is going to stay where it's at. So we're going to go ahead and tie that up. I'm going to put the bolt back in so it don't go off different directions here. But I'm going to get something with some wire to help tie this up back here so that it doesn't, through this hole or something, so this doesn't fall forward. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lower the vehicle down as far as the forward edge goes, and we're going to then start removing the 4 nuts up top, leaving one holding on just in case. And then once we get it to a point that we're going to pull this bottom bolt out, we'll have everything tied up here, and then we can drop the strut out, and then we can get both struts replaced with new strut bearing mounts and new struts, put the spring compressor on them, mount them all back up, and then reinstall them. Trusty overhead work light here. Get this thing on so we can actually see. But look, I got full access to do proper torquing on these. This will make the job faster to take them off and put them back on. So that's what I was looking for. Plenty of real estate, and I can get to these things really quickly. So that is what we're aiming for. Now all I have to do is start zipping these things off. Remember, leave one light slightly attached until you're ready to pull it off completely. Alright folks, 13mm. And I could use the power tools to do this, but what the heck. Let's do this the home way. Get these off of here. Remember, what we want to do is make sure that we don't take all of them off. We want to leave one slightly attached so when we drop things, we don't end up dropping it down accidentally. So, once you get them loose, they're pretty tight, they're locking all the way through. Pretty long-winded, aren't they? The next thing we're going to do, of course, is go ahead and get these all the way off, and then we're going to put the new springs on. And once we're done with that, we can reinstall them. Basically a reversal of the process. And of course, we're going to get these off of here. We don't want to get this down too. There you go. There you go. Got her out. Now to get the other one, right? Yeah. All right, this is the left front strut that I have removed, and we have the right front strut. Now the thing is, remember how we had this in here? So we have to match up our struts. So the first thing we got to do is look at our struts and see which one's which. So this one here is not the right one because look, if I had to do it this way. So this goes on to the left side, and if you look at it, it matches up perfect for the left side. And then this, of course, is the right strut, because if you look at it, look how it's set up. Again, identical, so that is the right front strut. Then, of course, we have our strut bearing mounts, okay? And there's one thing we want to check out on here is that doesn't matter. Strut bearing mounts are universal to right or left. So we have these all set up. But again, that is the Motorcraft part number. You can check out my other video to verify that that is it, but I did do a parts review on these. So we're going to go ahead and get these installed and replace the springs. We're going to reutilize the old springs, but we're going to go ahead and get it started. Ready? Quicker, right? Don't need that one, right?
This is a symmetrical here, so some of them
Take this one in the first shot, huh? Square and round out. Trying to say.
still want to live.
Helps if you
Press it on.
otherwise it tries to take it off.
Time on the other.
Oh, hit that.
It felt solider.
You brought
We brought it over.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do the install of the struts, and then we'll go ahead and get those sway bar links taken and removed and installed. Okay, folks, I'm going to make sure this is facing in right here through the hole up here so you can align it. So you want to make sure that's straight. I didn't have it straight, so I was having a problem. There, finally got it. Lined up. Make sure you get it. Remember, you want the nut on the left, the bolt head facing the front. Then we can go ahead and we can slide this back in here, and we'll go ahead and put our nut on here, and then of course electronic sensor will get popped back into place, and we just gotta get the nut back on there. Go ahead and get this thing started, get it seated in there and up. So, get this done. We got our brake line attached. There we go, nice and snug. So we got the strut in there, we'll put the other bolt in. Wiggle it around, pound that in just a little bit, and get on our way. Get her in. And as you remember, we brought out the big guns for these nuts here. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring out the big gun to put her back in. Get her nice and snug. There we go. Nice and tight. Again, these are the 13s. We'll get these nice and snug. And then we'll torque down on them. I'm just making them good and tight. If you want the torque specs, you can find that in all data. But you know when it's tight and when it's not. Let's put it that way. Now this is a lot easier with this cowling on here. It makes life so much easier. I remember doing it without removing it, and it took forever. And it was actually painful. So I'll do this any day of the week. This is definitely easier. There. As they say, good and tight. Okay folks, we got the KYBXLG strut attached. Everything's good. Got the sensor hooked up, got the brake line hooked up. That is really all there is to it. We got everything done. So nice and tight, all hooked up. And we got of course all the bolts and everything attached. So we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Got these, and yes, we got all four. Didn't lose a one. So we got them all set. We're going to go ahead and get that put in. One thing we got to make sure we check is our alignment. Hole up here. We got it right here. We got it set up properly, so we can go ahead and get that in there. So you want this facing to the inside, and that is how it is. Go ahead and get her set up. All right, got these, and yes, I got all four. Didn't lose a one. So we got them all set. We're going to go ahead and get that put in. One thing we got to make sure we check is our alignment with the hole up here. We got it right here. We got it set up properly, so we can go ahead and get that in there. So you want this facing to the inside, and that is how it is. So we'll go ahead and get her set up. There, always better when you get a few on there. Just hand tighten them. That way we got some wiggle room. Now we can set everything else up down here. Get the other one in. Get this all set up in place. Take it. Give my tap to see the there we go. And of course our brake hose goes in here. We get that put in. This brake line is seated up back in here. There we go. Put our sensor back on the wire. We're all set, all hooked up. Now we got to do the impact for tightening these bolts back up. Go ahead and get these done. There we go. Nice and tight. So we got everything all hooked up here. Basically we're all set. We can go ahead and tighten these up here. There you go. Get it all nice and tight. Snug it up. There you go. We have them all set. Okay, folks, we got the KYBXLG strut attached. Everything's good. Got the sensor hooked up, got the brake line hooked up. That is really all there is to it. We got everything done. So nice and tight, all hooked up. And we got, of course, all the bolts and everything attached.
Thank you for watching, and remember to like my videos and subscribe to MACT. This is a Mercy Go production.